Meaningful life stories. You should read at least once in your life. Sometimes we forget that even the smallest events in our daily lives hold certain meanings and valuable lessons for each of us. Let's take a moment to read and reflect on these short yet profound stories about life. Story number 1. The Love Comb. One day, a wife with long, beautiful hair asked her husband to buy her a new comb so she could keep her hair neat. The husband apologized and declined, saying that he didn't even have enough money to repair his broken wristwatch. The wife heard this and said nothing more. The next day, on his way to work, the husband stopped by a watch shop and sold his watch for a low price so he could buy his wife the new comb she wanted. That evening, he sat at home, happily waiting for his wife, holding the new comb in his hands. However, when she arrived, he was stunned to see that she had cut her hair short. It turned out that she had sold her hair to buy him a new watch strap. Tears fell from their eyes, not because their efforts were in vain, but because of the deep love they had for each other. Story number 2. A Bargain with the Poor. A young woman approached an old man selling eggs and asked, "How much for one egg?" The old man replied, $1 for 2 eggs, ma'am." The woman said, "I'll take 4 eggs for $1, or I won't buy any." The old man hesitated, but then agreed, saying, "Fine, take them. It's a good start, since I might not sell anything else today." The woman left feeling proud that she had bargained well. Later, she met her friends at an upscale restaurant, where they ordered whatever they wanted. Their total bill came to $420. She handed the waiter $500 and told him to keep the change. Lesson: this may seem like a simple incident, but it's a heartbreaking reality for the old egg seller. Many of us are generous to the wealthy, yet we forget to show kindness to those in need. Story number 3. The Ugly Class Beauty. The female students in the class held an open vote to select the class beauty. Xiao Mai, an ordinary-looking girl, stood up and said to everyone, "If you vote for me, then years from now, all of you can proudly tell your husbands, 'Back in college, I was even more beautiful than the class beauty.'" As a result, she won the title with an overwhelming majority of votes. Lesson: to persuade others to support you, it's important to show them how they can benefit from your success, how your achievements make them look better or help them grow, rather than simply proving that you are better than them. Story number 4. Thank you, Dad, for showing me how poor we are. One day, a wealthy father took his son on a trip to the countryside. He wanted to show his son just how poor some people could be. They spent time visiting the fields of a very poor family. On their way back, the father asked his son, "How was the trip, son?" "It was amazing, Dad." "Did you see how poor people live?" "Yes, I did." "So tell me, what did you learn from this trip?" The boy replied, "We have 1 dog, they have 4. We have a swimming pool, they have rivers. We use lights at night, they have the stars. We have walls to protect us, they have friends. We have TVs, they spend time with family and loved ones." The father was speechless. Then the boy added, "Thank you, Dad, for showing me how poor we really are." Lesson: we are not truly rich just because we have money. Love, compassion, friendship, true values, and family are what make a person truly wealthy. Story number 5. The Burnt Toast. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, I remember that my mother would sometimes burn the toast while making breakfast. One evening, after a long day at work, my mother came home and prepared dinner for my father and me. She placed a few slices of burnt toast on the table, not just slightly overdone, but completely blackened like charcoal. I sat there watching, waiting to see if anyone would notice or say something about them. But my father simply picked up his slice, ate it as usual, and asked me about my homework and school, just like any other evening. I don't remember exactly what I said to him that night, but I do remember hearing my mother apologize to my father for burning the toast, and I will never forget what my father said to her. "It's okay, dear. I actually like burnt toast." Later that night, I went to my father's room to say goodnight and asked him if he truly liked burnt toast. He put his arm around my shoulder and said, "Your mother worked really hard today, and she's very tired. A burnt toast won't hurt anyone, but do you know what really does? Harsh words and criticism." Then he continued, "You see, life is full of imperfect things and imperfect people. I'm not great at many things. For example, I can never remember birthdays or anniversaries like some people do. But over the years, I've learned one thing. We must accept each other's flaws and choose to support our differences. That's the key to building a healthy, mature, and lasting relationship. Life is too short to wake up with regrets and resentment. Love those who treat you well and show compassion to those who don't. Lesson. In life, learning to be understanding toward the shortcomings and imperfections of others is essential. Whether it's within family, friendships, or marriage, embracing empathy helps create harmony in our relationships. Empathy is the secret to nurturing happiness in a family. This story is a beautiful lesson about the power of understanding between people. Story number 6. The Man Who Threw Away His Shoes. A train was speeding down the tracks when Johnny accidentally dropped one of his brand new shoes out the window. The people around him felt bad for him and expressed their sympathy. To their surprise, Johnny immediately took the second shoe and threw it out of the same window. Everyone was stunned by his action. Seeing their confusion, Johnny calmly explained, "No matter how expensive this shoe was, it's now useless to me. But if someone finds both shoes, perhaps they can still wear them." Lesson. What may no longer be useful to us could be a great blessing to someone else. Cherish what you have and, whenever possible, share your happiness with others. Story number 7. The Tale of Two Rice Grains. There were two rice grains that were selected as seeds for the next planting season because they were both large, strong, and full of nutrients. One day the farmer decided to sow them in the nearby field. The first grain thought to itself, "Why should I let myself be buried in the soil? I don't want my body to break apart in the dirt. The best thing I can do is preserve all my nutrients inside this shell and find a safe place to hide." So it rolled into a dark corner of the storage barn and stayed there. Meanwhile, the second grain eagerly awaited the moment it would be planted. It was truly excited to begin a new life. As time passed, the first grain slowly withered in the corner of the barn. Deprived of water and sunlight, its stored nutrients became useless. It gradually dried up and died. Meanwhile, the second grain, though broken and buried in the soil, sprouted into a golden rice plant full of new grains. It had given life to many more seeds. Lesson. If you lock yourself inside your own shell, trying to preserve yourself without purpose, you will live a meaningless life and lose your true value. Instead, embrace challenges, step forward with courage, and be willing to break apart silently in order to live a meaningful life and contribute something valuable to society. Story number 8. Who's Really the Fool? A new teacher noticed that one boy in the class was constantly being called stupid by his classmates. During recess, the teacher asked the group why they kept calling him that. "Because he really is stupid, teacher. If we offer him a big 5-ruble coin and a smaller 10-ruble coin, he always picks the 5-ruble one because he thinks the bigger size means it's worth more. Watch this, teacher." One student took out both coins and offered them to the boy. As always, the boy chose the larger 5-ruble coin. Surprised, the teacher asked him, "Why do you pick the 5-ruble coin instead of the 10-ruble one?" The boy replied, "Look, teacher, this one is bigger." After school, the teacher approached the boy privately and asked again, "Don't you understand that the 5 ruble coin is only bigger in size, but the 10 ruble coin can buy you more?" The boy smiled and answered, "If I took the 10 ruble coin, they would stop giving me money altogether." Lesson: a fool pretending to be wise is not scary. What's truly dangerous is a wise person pretending to be a fool. This story is a reminder not to judge others based on appearances. You never know what lies beneath the surface of someone's actions. These stories convey profound messages about love, kindness, sacrifice, and the way we perceive life's values. When we learn to give, understand, and appreciate the simple things, that is true happiness.